Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. The news just keeps on rolling in here, and this is yet another update to the Venezuela situation there and gold. And really, that's kind of the point of these videos. You know, yes, you can get into debates about who's right or who should be involved in what, or, you know, how the geopolitics plays out, but you know, really, it's the fact that gold is at the center of these stories, and it's kind of what's keeping things alive. I think we can all agree here, this is another example of how gold is used, even in this modern age, to keep things afloat, even if it's a maniacal dictator like President Nicolas Maduro. But nonetheless, this is an article here from Kitco News. Venezuela's Maduro sold 40% of the national gold reserves last year. So he's already raided those reserves much, and it's already been sold 40% of it. And then here recently, I've posted stories about the plane that was sent over. And there's some speculation that perhaps that plane was loaded up with gold. And, you know, that with that being said, it looks like last year, undetected, or at least not many people knew about it, 40% of the national gold reserves have already been looted. It says more than 40% of Venezuela's gold reserves were sold off last year alone as President Nicolas Maduro cashed in to keep the government running, according to media reports citing Venezuelan opposition lawmaker Carlos Paparoni. Now, again, that's keeping in mind that, yes, you're looking at an opposition, so they're going to try to make Maduro look bad, but I think Maduro is making himself look bad on his own. The gold was sold without the needed approval of the opposition-led National Assembly, Reuters said on Wednesday. The money was used by Maduro to keep some of the government programs running, as well as to transfer millions to bondholders, Bloomberg reported. There was a total of 73 tons of gold sold to firms in the United Arab Emirates and Turkey, Paparoni told reporters on Wednesday. The remaining reserves inside the country by the end of last year were around 110 tons, one source told Bloomberg, confirming Paparoni's numbers. One of the companies involved in the purchase from Maduro was Istanbul-based Sardes Kıymetli Madenler S.A., Paparoni said. This company bought about 24 tons of Venezuela's gold just days after it became a member of Borsa's Istanbul's precious metals market on December 26, 2017, Bloomberg reported citing documents. Other companies said to have been involved in buying gold from Venezuela last year were UAE's Noor Capital and Goats Gold. At the end of January, there were also reports that Venezuela was planning to sell 15 tons of gold to the UAE last week. Venezuelan opposition is fighting to stop Maduro from accessing and selling the national gold reserves, accusing him of corruption. We will keep working so that not one more gram of gold can be sold, Paparoni said. Earlier this year, news broke that the Bank of England has blocked Maduro's officials from withdrawing $1.2 billion worth of gold being stored in the vaults of the UK central bank, and that has stirred quite a controversy among viewers of my channel. So some say that it's Venezuela's gold and they should be able to withdraw it. Others say, well, Maduro is not really a legitimate leader. He's become a dictator. He has tried to rewrite the Constitution and put in his own patsies in office to give him majority and more power, empowered himself. And so he's not the legitimate ruler, so they shouldn't give it to such an embattled nation. Venezuela is currently in a political and economic crisis, with the U.S. and many other Western countries supporting Venezuela's self-proclaimed interim president, Juan Guaido. And so that's kind of where that is. And of course, and again, this has kind of sparked, again, some controversy. But nonetheless, the central moral of the story here is that gold is being used and traded today. And whether or not you agree with the amount of gold being passed along and being traded, it's happening. and it's used and is being made in business. A lot of these countries where this business is being made are the ones that are supporting, and it's probably because he's willing to do business with them, considering the sanctions. And they don't care about what's going on inside the country. They're there to get the business. And of course, again, some of that same criticism could be made of the United States for doing business with Saudi Arabia, and in some cases as well. Nonetheless, something to think about. But the gold itself, it's quite fascinating to see. And 40% of the reserves are now gone, sold off. What about the rest? And obviously, the Bank of England has blocked, Maduro officials from withdrawing, a large sum of gold there. So what about the rest? Is this what this plane was about that was speculated, that I reported on earlier? Just quite interesting. The moral of the story, again, is that not so much the politics involved or the motives, but it's the very fact that gold is being used, and in times of crisis, and obviously Maduro is in crisis, he's using gold. Gold being money, being passed through. So post your thoughts below. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to y'all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.